Let's start with your reading, Aries. Today, we are going to look into your recent past, present, and near future, and then we will immediately clarify in order to get more details about the messages. Keep in mind that in general readings, energies go both ways. Feel free to interpret the direction of the messages as it best resonate with your own personal situation. Now, let's begin with your reading. Okay. All right, Aries, coming in strong today with this Queen of Swords as the main energy for the reading. You have decided to look at our situation for what it really is and not for what you thought it could be. You're not believing someone's lies anymore, not leading yourself on in a connection that was definitely impactful on you, but potentially right now you realize that it impacted you in a negative way. You're saying enough and you're cutting someone out of your life not because you don't care anymore, but because they don't. And you do not want to waste time in situations like these anymore. The power is definitely in your hands, Aries. So let's see what's going on over here. In the recent past, we have the Eight of Wands and the Emperor reversed. As you know, in the major arcana, the Emperor represents you, represents Aries. But what we see here is that the person you were dealing with, which seems was very much the opposite of what you were at that moment in time. This was definitely someone very stubborn, very manipulative at times, someone who would do and say very harsh things without having that empathy that you would expect from someone who claims to love you. This is someone who would easily shut down and go from being very loving to be very cold. You see the difference in between these two cards, the passion and instead the walls. And I do see you confused about this overall situation. At times feeling like you were crazy and feeling as though you were doing something wrong. But that's how the Emperor reversed wants you to feel. So it's definitely a tricky situation. We'll see what this was about. In the present position, we have the Two of Pentacles and the Star. Someone here is still trying to find their way, trying to find a new direction. And honestly, it's okay to feel lost after coming out of a situation like this one. It's true, the Queen of Swords is strong, she's cool, she's in control, but that doesn't mean that she's not hurting. There is definitely this facade and this very logical energy when it comes to make decisions, but deep down, the wound is still there. And at times, it might make you feel confused as to what to do next or what to expect next. But hang in there, Aries. We'll look into what's going on right now. In the near future, we have the Seven of Pentacles and the Five of Cups. Someone here is feeling as though they have missed out on a huge opportunity. Something that potentially is never going to come back in any shape or form. And this is really making them feel sad and a little lost. This could be you or the other person. We'll look into it. But I wouldn't be surprised if this Five of Cups would eventually translate into action and movement. This can be a very powerful energy. And I do believe that whoever is feeling this is also planning to do something or to at least say something. What is this about? Let's look into it. Let's start with clarifying the past energy. Nine of Wands, Knight of Pentacles and Three of Pentacles. I mean, this is definitely a crazy push and pull right here. One of the situations in which every time there is an issue, the two of you would perhaps break up, or someone who's just very quick at walking away, very quick at ending things, and then very slow at apologizing or opening back up. We see right here the difference. The nine of wands, someone who raises walls in no time, and then very slow with the Knight of Pentacles energy to come back in and to even apologize. This is someone who was projecting on you a lot. Potentially they were labeling you as manipulative and controlling, but I mean, hello, this was exactly them. They would blame you for being cold and distant without acknowledging the fact that you might have been that way because they were pushing you away. No, Aries, you were not crazy. They were definitely trying to manipulate the whole situation. And the issue is that at some point, they realized you didn't allow that to happen anymore. You were not responding to their actions anymore. You were not letting yourself be triggered by their doing. And this is when they started to lose control and become even more upset. Definitely not an easy situation to go through, Aries. But you know, you live, you learn, and you have learned a lot from this. There are no doubts about it. So let's clarify the present position with the Two of Pentacles and the Star. The Hermit, the Ace of Wands, and the Six of Pentacles. The Hierophant. I see what's going on here. You know, one of the most confusing states we can find ourselves in is when we get stuck into a conflict in between the heart and the mind. It gets very confusing when you know you don't want a person anymore. The Hermit. Distance, silence when it comes to this connection. Yet, something is still connecting you to that energy, to that memory, and you feel that something must be wrong about you. But that's not the case. Hang in there, because this is actually something else happening. You see in that darkness, which is really representing what's left of that connection, there is still a spark right there, and you cannot understand why overall. I mean, it's clear that this person was not for you. And what you're trying to understand here is, why at times do I still think about this? It's important for you to understand something. Sometimes you can miss someone and not wanting them back. You cannot think about this as if it was black or white. You definitely have a good reason why to move on from this person, but at the same time, it would be unfair to not acknowledge the fact that there was a lot of love there at some point, and that you do have good memories when it comes to this connection. It's okay to admit that. Even if you feel that there is still some love potentially from the both of you, you need to tell yourself, just because we're in love doesn't mean that we're good for each other. Love doesn't always make sense. It's just time to free yourself from the burden of having to have a relationship with the person you have feelings for. It doesn't make sense, but if you really think about it, it does. Let it be. Don't fight that feeling. Don't try to repress it, because otherwise, just like a pressure cooker, it will become even more powerful. And you'll find yourself stuck trying to figure out the hows and the whys for way longer than you should. Instead, just understand that sometimes, yeah, you can love someone even without wanting them back. It's just because this was a very powerful connection that it's just hard to move on from and pretend that it never happened. You shouldn't pretend it never happened, you know? There are a lot of cards there, so I cannot take them all. But okay, these two. Ace of Pentacles, Three of Wands, and Eight of Swords for the near future. You know, I definitely feel as though this Five of Cups might actually be you, Aries, but not in the way you are thinking. You don't feel as though you have missed on a major opportunity with this specific person. You just feel as though back then you thought you found love. You thought that you found the perfect match. And now instead, you find yourself here. In a way, with this Eight of Swords right here, which represents limiting beliefs, in a way, you might think that that feeling of love and passion will never come back into your life. Maybe some of you are thinking, I'm too old, nobody wants me now, there's not going to be another brand new beginning for me with that Ace of Pentacles. You feel as though you have missed a train here, but let's say that you did. Even if you did miss that train, there is always going to be another train. It might be a while, but another one will come. What matters most is that you're comfortable and you understand what you are doing and you don't rush. Even if it takes a while, even if it takes a little longer, but you cannot lose yourself in the process. Also, one more thing, don't attach outcomes to people. You will always set yourself up for failure if you do that. Let the universe take care of the details. Let the universe work for you, because there is something beautiful here which is coming your way, and it's going to surprise you in beautiful, beautiful ways. Why do I say that? Three of Wands, do you see movement? We see these three wands moving forward, but you cannot see yet who is actually carrying them. So let's find that out. Let's see then what you have coming up next, Aries. I get a good feeling about your trajectory, but I want the cards to confirm that. What is next for you, Aries, now that you understand that sometimes you can have feelings without letting them dictate your actions? And now that you understand that, you have to let go. Trust what comes your way and enjoy the ride, Aries. So let's look into what's coming next for you. If you want to dive deeper into the messages, Aries, just follow me in the extended reading link below in the description box. Also, don't forget that every single week I randomly select viewers who have watched the extended video to offer them a 100% free personal live reading. The readings are not 30 minutes anymore. It was just not enough time. So we'll go up to 45 minutes and see if that's enough. I send out emails every Monday morning to confirm. Please make sure to check out your spam folder as well. Now, stay tuned for the extended preview coming right up after this. Welcome back to your extended reading, Aries. The bridging energy taking us from this current situation to the incoming events, the lovers. I mean, this is really funny because you're coming from a time, as we were just saying, in which you think that you have missed out on the opportunity to really meet the person who's going to be your match, who's going to make you happy in ways that perhaps you haven't been in a while. Right here, we see that right in the moment when you think that this is not going to happen, it's going to come in. It's going to come in and it's going to be more powerful and more intense than you've ever imagined and than you've ever experienced up to this point. There is something really beautiful here, which is going to really teach you that it doesn't matter where you are. It doesn't matter all the limitations that you create for yourself, all of the things that you think you won't be able to achieve anymore, that won't be able to happen anymore. That's just your thinking. But around you, the universe doesn't know anything about time, doesn't know anything about all these limitations that we create for ourselves. And right here we see that it's about to give you something very special, very beautiful, and I'm afraid that you might reject it at first. So let's keep looking into this energy because it looks definitely very promising. Let's start with clarifying these two cards, the Lovers and the Chariot, and let's see what exactly is about to show up into your life. Knight of Cups, Ace of Pentacles. Look at that. That's exactly what we were talking about. An Ace of Swords. Someone is already moving towards you, Aries. Someone is already making this happen. And it's going to be very important for you to be ready to receive it, because I'm afraid that for some reason you're going to reject it, or you're not even going to see it. And this is why. Whenever we get into that